Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Willow Schuyler, and this is Cryptid Crunch. Tonight, we are going to kind of do a bit of a deep dive on the myth of the Mineral Point vampire. Plus, we're also going to discuss a few other things, so tune in. Join the chat. It would help if I play this. Hey, folks, welcome to Cryptid Crunch. Let's bring up Kale. Hey!
How's it going?
Good. Had a nice, I was telling you earlier, had a nice little trip with my parents, my in-laws and my husband, to a nice church ground in St. Andrews. What did you do today?
Oh, the lazy Sunday things, cleaning up around the house, laundry, good old American chores.
Fun.
Yeah, not as exciting as a cool road trip like you.
Well, we were gonna go. There's a little town called Lockport, and we have to go through another little town called St. Andrews, and they have a nice historical site with a church, and there's an interesting myth, and this actually kind of ties into what we're talking about tonight as well. There's a myth, and it appears that this is a common myth brought over from Europe, that if you run around the church 3 times, something weird will happen. But the thing is, I looked this up. Okay, so according to my mother-in-law, if you run around the church 3 times in a full moon, she mentioned you go missing or you die. And I'm just like, that's an interesting myth. And she apparently, a police officer, had tried this and died on the grounds of the church. So, but
wow,
I can't find the story to corroborate that. So I don't know. I'll do some more searching. Maybe it's in their records, but the thing is, it's a a local myth.
Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law lived in that town for a little bit. She went to school there, right across the street, and so yeah, it's a local myth. You're trying to make sure that the kids, stay off the church at night. But according to what I've looked up, is if you run counterclockwise around churches, you either transport to another world, you die, you see a ghost or the devil.
Okay.
It's just like, okay, definitely it's one of those, nobody can actually figure out what's true here. So I'm curious. I'd like to try this.
Is it like it's like the spooky roulette, spooky lottery like slot machine here? We run around 3 times and it's a mystery what's gonna happen to you. You're either gonna meet your doom right away, be transported somewhere else, see a devil who will probably bring your doom soon.
So yeah, I'm curious what the people in the chat think. So we have Carl Witzman. Hello, Carl. Donna Carleen. Hello. Hello. And she says hello to Kale.
Hello, everyone.
So yeah, so far we just have Carl saying interesting myth, the lesson, don't run around churches.
There's there's a local legend that's like that here. It's called Step Cemetery, and supposedly there's this staircase. You count 100 steps going down, but if you can't count 100 steps going back up, then you like meet the undertaker at the end, and he shows you how you're gonna die or something like that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
like
yeah. Never
that.
been there. I think it's about like 2 hours from where I live in the city of Indianapolis, but it's in some like rural like town. So yeah.
Oh,
Lot
interesting.
of crazy myths around numbers and certain rituals and things you have to do in cemeteries and church graveyards and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something. It's definitely something brought over from Europe from like the 1800s, and because they had all these like little things happen as well, and which I will also touch on in a moment. So uh, the apparently it was frowned upon to travel counterclockwise or the opposite way that the sun travels. Bad things will happen. Yeah, so that's really interesting how it's all tied into European folklore. So what we're talking about today is the Mineral Point vampire. Oh shoot, sorry. Here, let me get the proper picture up. Because what I found was the one that I have in our promo picture is of another myth brought over from Europe. So this is the depiction of the Mineral Point vampire. This is an interesting one. So, okay, Mineral Point is an old Cornish mining settlement set amidst in the driftless region of southwest Wisconsin. The place is loaded with history and early 19th century lore. On the evening of March 14th, 1981, a year before I was born, police responded to reports of a strange man lurking in Graceland Cemetery. And no, it's not. I don't think this is the cemetery with Elvis. At the cemetery, Officer John Pepper approached a tall, pale, darkly clad figure, a huge person wearing a black cape with a white painted face, about 6'5" and ugly.
Yeah. Rude.
Sorry,
judgy, but okay.
Not meaning to body shame here, folks.
Go on, Sergeant Pepper.
When Pepper asked the figure what it was doing, it turned and ran. The officer followed. The chase ended when the pale man leapt over a 4-foot fence at the edge of the cemetery. Okay, I looked the cemetery up. There is no walls. It's completely open. So, which makes me wonder if there was a different cemetery that this was supposed to be referring to, or
or maybe a neighboring property had a fence that's since been demolished.
I don't know. Maybe I should have looked this up.
Where are the blueprints? The tax records?
So adjacent. There we go. Adjacent cow pasture where Angus bulls were grazing in the field. Okay, so apparently it used to be a farm field.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Pepper wisely avoided the chase. The city was abuzz with vampire fever over the next 2 days, which included April 1st. Big surprise there. The police were inundated with sightings of lurking vampire-like figures. Well, yeah, it's April 1st. It didn't help that some inspired locals showed up at the local bars dressed like vampires. 23 years later, on March 2004, police responded to reports of a dark-clad, pale individual sitting in a tree outside an apartment complex, heckling tenants. When the police arrived, the individual fled. An officer followed, but quickly lost sight of the fast-moving individual. There were tracks in the snow. The police followed the footprints to a concrete wall where they ended. Okay, this guy can scale walls pretty decently, apparently.
Right.
The third and most frightening episode occurred on July 11th, 2008. At about 10 p.m., Mineral Point residents Brendan Hines, 22 years old at the time, and his girlfriend Jamie, 19-year-old, were fishing off the jetty on the far west shore of Ludden Lake, where the couple heard noises coming from under the jetty. The noises were described as sounding like something was using the boards of the jetty like a ladder, climbing along underneath us. Hines began stomping on the boards, believing it was some kind of animal and hoping to scare it away. He aimed his flashlight between the cracks of the boards when he and Marker heard water splashing down towards the other side of the jetty. Hines shone his flashlight towards the sound to see a figure with dark hair and very pale face pulling itself onto the jetty. Hines and Marker stood in shock as the figure began to rise to its feet. Marker turned and ran up the path towards Hines' vehicle. Hines kept his flashlight aimed on the figure. It was wearing some kind of Dracula-looking cape and suit, sort of. Hines stated. Marker claimed the same. Hines threw his flashlight towards the figure and ran up the path after Marker, who was already in the vehicle with the door locked. As Hines started the vehicle and began leaving, Marker saw out the passenger window that the figure was coming up the path at a run, and she screamed for Hines to hurry. The couple drove to the Mineral Point Police Department and made a statement directly after. A patrol unit in the area of Ludden Lake investigated the area where Hines and Marker had been found, but found no one. Hines and Marker returned the next day to retrieve their belongings with everything accounted for except for Hines' flashlight. Whoever it is, Hines said, they kept it. Okay. So that's the story of, of the Mineral Point vampire.
So interesting. Every account, did they ever say he was like attacking anybody? He's just the one instance he was in the tree heckling people?
Just being a nuisance.
Why does he get the name vampire? Where's the blood? Where's the gore? Where's the draining of humans and carcasses left across the city rampant? Like, what?
He wears a cloak?
Right. He looks like Dracula, so we're going to judge him based off of that. He's ugly. Poor Sergeant Pepper just pegged this man from the start.
This is one of those weird stories where it's like you hear of these stories happening in like cities where it's like, oh, so some guy is just hanging out in the being a nuisance, send some cops over just to tell them to go away. But apparently they run really fast and can leap over walls. Okay, sure. That's called being on drugs. At least where I'm from, anyway.
Right. I mean, he's probably pale because he's strung out on whatever he's on. Leave the poor ugly guy alone with his addictions. Oh man. So it said he was how tall? Because he could jump 4 feet, right?
He's 6'5" and ugly. A huge person wearing a black cape with a white painted face, and 6'5" and ugly.
6'5" and ugly. We'll never forget that, Sergeant Pepper. So So how high? We need to know, how high can the average human jump?
All right. How
Because
high can the average human jump? 5 feet 5 inches, apparently.
really? So there could have been nothing supernatural about this guy.
Yeah, okay, look at basketball players.
Right. Okay. Well, that's why I was curious, because I was like, the basketball players jump really high, but I honestly don't know how high, the average human can jump, or like what the natural thing
so
is.
me, I can probably jump like maybe a foot.
Yeah, when I think about myself, I couldn't jump 4 feet. 4 feet is me. I'm 4'9". I couldn't jump my entire body's length to save my life. There was a pack of wolves at my feet. It's not gonna happen any day. So that's crazy.
Makes me wonder if this guy was like a track star at school, and he had, maybe he had Olympic potential, and he just wasted his life away.
Right. He was the Bruce Wayne of his day, the sheltered rich kid. That's why he dressed so dapper in his suit and cape. And who knows, maybe just like Bruce, he befell a tragedy that caused him to turn to a life of addiction and made him go crazy, and he went on heckling sprees among the streets. He was probably just mourning his lost loved ones at the cemetery that one night, and the cop was like, "Hey, buddy, quit your grieving and go home." This poor guy.
Yeah, I love Carl's a version of "Stay Off My Lawn."
Right. Yeah. That's what the church started the myth, so that people wouldn't go there and run around.
Oh yeah, yes, I want to hear about that other myth sometimes, but never heard. The running around the church thing, it definitely is interesting, questionable, and definitely something that I want to try. And I tried looking to see where it came from, and it's we have some weird superstitions.
There's a full moon coming up, isn't it? Like the harvest supermoon or something like that. I'll try it. I'll run around a church 3 times. I'll see if I get transported.
Oh yeah, next full moon. Yes, super blue moon will rise over Illinois this week, apparently.
Oh, there we go.
Huh. All right.
It's a super blue moon, so it's going to be double the power of the occult.
Great time to power those diamonds. Gems, whatever you believe. So there must have been a wall at the time that happened, but it to me, looking at the map, it's all open area now. The policeman got tired and didn't want to write it up, so he made up a fence. You know what? I can kind of see police officers doing that too. Yeah, good luck, perp. Hey, Dan. Dan Hollyfield goes, "Good evening. I almost missed the episode. Well, I'll do better next time to remind everybody about the show." Energy Vampire, and I think that is I Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are, but I think I do know. secret flashlight thief. Yeah, exactly. Like where, like of all the things to steal, why steal the flashlight unless that was the only thing that was worth stealing out of the
Right. Because,
fishing
and
lures?
honestly, if you're a vampire, why do you need this? Why do you need a flashlight? Can't you see in the dark?
Well, okay, so you're underneath, like pretty much underneath the dock, which it would mean that your clothes get wet, and you're not going to run very fast with a wet cloak.
Right. You're drenched. It's gonna be like you're gonna be literally under a wet blanket at that point.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is Keisha. Hello, beautiful people. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like parkour, vampire, going all either you're just purposely being a jerk and wanting the attention to see if you can outrun people, but I don't know. This is a weird story. It's just, to me, it just sounds like a guy just, purposely wanting to get the attention.
Right.
If Willow runs around the church, someone needs to get video of this show. Believe me, you know what? It's something that I would definitely do live.
Yeah, you have to do it live because on the third lap, if you get transported, we need to see the transport.
We saw Keisha and told her that she needs to come back someday. Yes, Keisha, whenever you can, please come back to the show. We would love to have you. And I was online shopping for a shed for my riding lawnmower. Oh, that's cool. All right, move to YouTube with the cool people. Nothing sadder than a soggy vampire. Yeah. See, and then okay, so this story is apparently, according to another page that I searched on, this is considered compelling evidence. Yeah.
It's just, I want to know who, like, what person was like, yeah, this guy's a vampire, because this was what, 1941, you said?
Well, okay, so this one is started in 1981.
Okay.
And then, but it's like, then it goes from 1981, it goes to 2004, and then 2008.
So for sure, the people reporting know, like, what vampires are and vampire lore and legend is.
Yeah.
So, like, vampires are statistically beautiful. This guy is not a gorgeous, handsome hunk. He's no Brad Pitt. Okay, he's
not
ugly.
Lost Boys.
right. No Kiefer Sutherland over here. So he doesn't even go after blood. Like, what? No time did he ever attack somebody. He just went after them for the flashlight. And I want to know, what was he heckling in the tree? Like, what was he saying to people? Like, what was this man's personality when he talked?
Like, I would chop that up as being, a possible peeping Tom up in a tree by some person's apartment. Yeah, no, that's definitely creeper vibes right there.
Yeah. Because, like, none of the other times they said he talked, but then he's just heckling random people. I want to know what those kind of interactions were like.
And both times the cops couldn't keep up with him. Like,
right.
this is the reason why Winnipeg changed their rules about cops needing to be fit. Sorry, guys, if you're losing sight of your perps, there's definitely something wrong with with you.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if he just made up the fence. He's like, oh, he jumped over a 4-foot fence because he just couldn't catch up with him that night. But what was his excuse afterwards when they were like, well, why didn't you climb the fence or go around? Like, what? Like, what were these police officers' previous arrest records and histories like? Can we count on them to be competent on the job?
Keisha!
Oh, baby!
Hi, we got the baby.
I figured since I was summoned, I should hop on the show and tell you guys a little bit of an update.
Ooh, okay, yes.
So, the reason I have not been on the show is because the show happens in the same time the girls go down for bed. So tonight we had a late nap. So we are still up. But
That's
yeah,
okay.
I missed you guys, so I was gonna jump on and say hi and
Hi.
on the show for a second.
Well, it's great to see the little baby that you created. She's adorable.
She's so precious.
Oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, the reason I am on maternity leave is because of this little bean right here. Her name is Eloise. So yes, I wanted to come on here and tell you guys that I will 100% be running around a church right now. I've got to go. I don't live within 5 mile. You know what? There's not even one close to me. But next time I am at a church, I am going to be running around it because it sounds like something I would do. So yes. Oh, I hope also I was yelled at by a few people, and they told me that I needed to be on the show. So for those of you that wanted me to come back, hi.
Carl and Dan both love you. We love you. We miss you. But no, I completely understand. You have kids that need to have their bedtime, so it's.
I mean, unless we want to change the whole structure of the show and get it like an hour earlier, that would be cool.
I will talk to Johnny about that because I have. You know what? Kale has to be up at 4 a.m. and the last thing I need is for her to fall asleep during this show.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. If it would work better for everybody else, then whatever.
Because I would love to be back on the show. Yeah, but unfortunately, certain things, not pointing any fingers or anything here, like right here. They get cranky if they don't go to sleep at a certain time.
Yep. Hey, so have you heard this myth before of the vampire, or?
You know what? I haven't. The most I saw is the research that you guys were doing. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, we do research sometimes, right? So I see what you guys what we've been posting in chat and stuff like that behind the scenes, but past that, I have never heard of it. Sorry for the ceiling. I've got a fussy baby.
Okay.
But no, I'm actually going to look into it because vampires and weird things like that are kind of up my alley. So.
And I know I know that Illinois has a whole bunch of cryptids. So one of these days, I think we're just gonna go down the list. Eventually, we'll touch on something that you guys actually saw. But yeah, no, this vampire one was interesting, and then of course someone had mentioned when I was promoting the show on my page that, it sounds like a modern day version of another myth. Come on, brain, where are you? Oh my god, my brain's broken. Where are you? No, that's not it. The modern version of Spring Hill Jack.
Spring Hill Jack. Oh, that sounds so familiar.
It is from Europe. In early 19th century, there was reports of ghosts that stalked the streets of London. These human-like figures were described as pale. It was believed that they stalked and preyed on lone pedestrians. The stories told of these figures formed part of distinct ghost tradition in London. Okay, the first alleged sighting of Spring Hill Jack were made in London 1837. And the last reported sighting is said in most of the secondary literature to have been made in Liverpool in 1904. According to much later accounts, in October 1837, a girl by the name of Mary Stevens was walking to Lavender Hill, where she was working as a servant, after visiting her parents in Battersea on her way through, wow, there's a lot of places on here, on her way through Clapham Common. A strange figure leapt at her from a dark alley. After abolishing her with a tight grip of his arms, he began to kiss her face while ripping her clothes and touching her flesh with his claws, which were, according to her deposition, cold and clammy as those of a corpse. In panic, the girl screamed, making the attacker quickly flee from the scene. The commotion brought several residents, who immediately launched a search for the aggressor, but he could not be found. The next day, the leaping character is said to have chosen a very different victim near Mary Stevens' home, inaugurating a method that would reappear in later reports. He jumped in the way of a passing carriage, causing the coachman to lose control, crash, and severely injure himself. Several witnesses claim that he escaped by jumping over a 9-foot high wall, while cackling with a high-pitched, ringing laughter. Gradually, the news of the strange character spread, and soon the press and the public gave him the name Spring Hill Jack. And that is, unfortunately, the picture that I chose for the show.
Sounds like a very creepy man.
And I want to say that I think I know this name because I think that this is loosely based off of what they centered the character, the Crooked Man from the Conjuring universe around.
Yes, I would have to. I think so. I'll have to rewatch that movie.
And and they're rumored to be doing a Crooked Man origin story for the Conjuring universe. And I hope that they do because he's creepy as heck.
You like creepy things, creepy Kale? What?
Oh, just maybe a little bit. just a eensy weensy.
Yeah. I just read a report on Spring Hill Jack. Donna says, so these two stories sound very similar.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of anything up here like that unless the person's on drugs and but yeah, no. Interesting how they have similar, other than Spring Hill Jack actually attacked people. But funny how they seem to have the same scenario of getting away by jumping over walls and
right.
similar in the looks.
I'm just throwing this out there though. So I know people that could probably jump that wall. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to be Pentecostal, and I remember some of them church revivals. And I saw, there was this guy. He was actually my youth pastor. I used to live with him. I saw him clear like 4 pews without even making, like, without anything. So, you know, I can see him. Oh, there's the other sneezing.
Hi.
These are the reasons why I'm not on the show very often. But I could see them jumping a wall like that.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? You're in times of intense danger, your fight or flight kicks in and your adrenaline goes in. I mean, what if it was just like total split moment? He morphed into the beast and he just took on that supernatural manpower strength, just like cheetah legs for a moment. Just the 9-foot jump is a little bit more unbelievable than the 4-foot jump. Especially after hearing the average jump is 5 feet. Like, what's the Guinness record for the highest jump? That's what I need to know. What's the best jump that's ever jumped?
Carl in the comments makes a very good point.
Cocaine was legal back then too. But, and yes, back then, cocaine was in lots of medicinal products. Cocaine was a medicinal product. Never mind. So yeah, Carl says a 9-foot jump is awesome. And Dan, you brought up a really good point. It's something that I was going to touch on too. Spring Hill Jack was about 50 years before Jack the Ripper, which makes me wonder if this guy had perfected his killing skills and, you know, decided to use whatever means necessary to rip women open around that time. So,
yeah. Because if it wasn't the same Jack, why is it always a Jack?
So what I'm gathering here is stay away from Jacks. Isn't the guy from The Shining Jack too?
Yeah.
So no, I'm just gonna avoid Jacks from now on.
That's what I'm saying is, did the media again, did Sergeant Pepper give these poor men the name of Jack, and have we tarnished Jacks forever?
Okay, so we have the bitch moniker to Karens. You know, so are the male equivalent of these guys Jack then? I don't know.
It's Karen and Greg's, like the normal angry American dad. They're the Gregs, is what I've heard. But Jack is definitely the stereotypical serial killer name now.
Okay, so Spring Hill Jack didn't kill people, as I recall. He just scared the hell out of them. But according to what I've read, is that he has slashed women with claws. So, Will and I think the same. Yeah, see, that's just it. Like, is Jack the Ripper and Spring Hill Jack the same people? And which is something that I don't recall if that has ever been touched on as far as lore goes, but I don't know. Who knows? Slash just killed, no, but he it's possible that, you know,
if they're 50 years apart, if he was in his 20s or If he was in his teens or 20s, then
Maybe he was just really
Yeah.
bad at it at the time.
That's just it. Like he had time to perfect his killings. So yeah, Carl says he was trying to slash her clothes off. He was a bad man. So yeah, that's it. That's my fan theory. Is Jack the Ripper is Spring Hill Jack. Just couldn't jump over walls as he progressed in age.
Yes. 100% agree.
I mean, yeah, because he would have to be 70, like in his 60s or 70s out there at that time.
So I have a 70. How old is he? 79-year-old. I have a 79-year-old man that comes over every day to help me take care of some of the outside animals. And I'm positive, like, he's in better shape than half of the 20-year-olds that I know. So, thankfully, he's not Jack. His name is Joe, so that's pretty close.
Right.
Okay, so Spring Hill Jack would have been at least 70 at the time, Dan says. See,
but Keisha's not wrong. A lot of older men are fit, and back then the life expectancy wasn't that high, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Is what if he found some kind, and if he is supernatural, I mean, we gotta throw age out of the window anyway. But if he's just a guy, back then he stuck to himself. Maybe he found some sort of like.
And we don't know the purpose of him taking any of the organs either.
Yeah. Maybe eating human flesh regenerates your life longer. Maybe the cannibals on the dark web have something going.
I still haven't tried the vegan human flesh yet, so maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he subscribed to the lifestyle of Elizabeth Bathory, and took the organs and bathed in their blood.
Yeah, Marie Laveau. Then she thought that the blood would keep her face young.
All these great theories, guys. I'm sorry, Keisha. Have fun getting your kids to bed tonight.
There was a story, I think, of this guy, and he had to have his foot amputated, and he kept it, and he made tacos and served it to like 5 or 7 of his closest friends. And he was like, do you guys want to genuinely have this experience with me and try human flesh? Like, it's my own foot. I'm going to try it. Do you want to try it? And they were like, yeah, we all ate his fucking foot tacos.
Oh my God. Interesting.
Yeah, this is a real thing. I don't know how he got around like the legalities of that or what state it was in, because I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, this is a real thing.
Okay, I know that I know that someone had touched on the the cannibalism of people meeting online, and yeah.
Hey guys, I have to head out because this one is ready for bed.
Bye.
But I will hopefully be able to join you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Have a good day. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I can't say that I would ever try someone's foot as a meal.
I don't think I would either.
Maybe the belly. I don't know. It has more fat tissue, but
yeah,
meat, but
like Like pork belly is good at Korean hot pot. We have to like human belly.
I mean, after all, okay. Now we're going into the weird side of Cryptid Crunch, but I won't actually do it. I won't actually eat a human, but humans are close to pigs, so I mean, if it came to that possibility, the stomach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've watched this series Yellow Jackets. It's on Prime and Showtime. It's really, really good. Its soccer team ends up going down in the woods, and they have to resort to cannibalism, and it gets pretty wild. It's pretty good. I mean, that's fantasy, but like there are stories about like really real cannibal cafes like on the dark web, and like people that really do that. It's crazy. Like if I've watched some of the YouTube videos for like deep dives and stuff like that, and I'm just like, that's insane.
I mean, one of my favorite movies I haven't read the book, but I mean, Fried Green Tomatoes makes that a assumption of serving an evil guy as food. That cannibalism is definitely something not on my list.
Right. I just hope that if there's ever a zombie apocalypse that like we can control it enough, and like there are still rations. I'm gonna like build a shelter where I can farm on my roof, so I don't have to worry about that.
I mean, I wouldn't want it to come to the Donner Pass. Why that's called the Donner Pass? Those of you in the chat will know what I'm talking about. Keisha lost internet and can't hear. Okay. We have someone watching us on Twitch. Hello. Hopefully
welcome.
Hopefully the commercials that you see on there isn't infringing on our show too much. Casper looks like he's all nice and clean now.
Yep. He just chills back there and takes the bath, don't you, Putty? You wanna come say hi? Come say hi.
Hi, Casper.
The boy.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's a ham. Oh, go on.
And we got the tail.
Right.
So yeah, the Mineral Point vampire and the spring-heeled Jack theory is interesting. I like it.
Tall, creepy, ugly men. Ugly. Who can judge
them? Yeah. I'll have to keep an eye on this as a possible sighting in my city.
Right? I mean, maybe they knew that they were ugly, so they were just trying to dress as dapper as they could when they go out. With the suits and the capes. Like they were peacocking.
Yeah.
Have to do something when you're an uggo, right? So according to poor Sergeant Pepper. Now I want to see a picture of Sergeant Pepper compared to the poor drawing of the Blue Man that we drew to see why he gets to be so judgy.
I mean, it could have been worse. They could have called him Dr. Pepper, but
Dr. Pepper. Oh man.
So yeah, these myths are interesting, and those of you in the chat, what cryptid would you like to see us talk about for our next show? Because that's I should definitely after each episode I should post up a vote to see what you guys would want. Oh no, Dan. Drat, I'm only short and creepy. I'll have to work on tall and ugly. Well, I mean, if you're hairy, you actually get a chance to creep people out even more by if going out into the bushes and lake area and having people think that you're Bigfoot. So you have something going for you. So I like you're short and creepy. Thank you, Donna. Have I done the TikTok? I haven't done anything on TikTok in a while about anything cryptid, but that's a good idea. I will definitely throw that up and make that a vote on there as well. So definitely. But yeah, Kale, what do you have going on this week?
Oh, this week I'm just trying to get my car fixed. I've been working on that for about a month now, unfortunately. So I've been a little homebound.
Oh, I'm sorry, Donna. I completely. Apparently, I need to read better. Have you done the tick? Okay.
Oh,
I'm
the
so sorry.
tick.
No. That is tick. No, Google, I'm not. I did not spell that wrong. Tick. Okay. Nope, Google still thinks that I'm trying to spell
TikTok.
I will refine my search and definitely look that up. Have Rich back and talk about werewolves again. Oh yes. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch that episode and definitely, we definitely need to have Rich back. Werewolves is a popular subject, and that'll bring us into the Halloween lore. So yes, good idea, Dan. I love it.
Get down with some werewolves.
He didn't talk about the New Orleans werewolves. They go by a different name, but I don't remember what it is. Okay, so
lycanthropes.
Things to do this week is contact Rich. Luke Garou. Interesting. I don't know enough about werewolves, so yes, having Dan having Rich come back would be helpful. But yeah, thank you for the suggestions, guys. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. This is what I love about our chat is we have a great group of people who are more intelligent than I am.
Yeah, I've never even heard of some of these suggestions, so that's great stuff, guys.
Do you have thunderbirds in your area? No. We have snowbirds. Oh wait, that's the people flying the planes. No. And then we also have the cars. People who drive the T-birds. Huge bird that was around Alaska. Good to know. Thunderbirds, and watch Google bring up the car. Thunderbird mythology is a legendary creature, in particular North American indigenous people history. It is considered a supernatural being of power and strength. Okay, I will have to find someone. If I do touch on this, I'll have to find someone who is more of that belief, because I do not know anything about the history of the Thunderbird. Oh, weird Illinois. Oh yes, Mothman. Yes, we've touched on Mothman, but I definitely would like to revisit that. Thunderbirds would be nice. There are reports of them carrying off children. Wow. Okay. Okay. So they're mentioned in our book, Weird Illinois. That's cool. Yeah, Chicago. The Thunderbirds were over the west side of the state. I'd have to. Okay. So Thunderbirds and bringing back Rich. Okay, I think we have our next couple shows.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I've never heard of a Thunderbird. Yeah, that's crazy. It's just weird how information and legends travel, and you talk to people and you're like, I've never heard about that, or you tell them about something they've never heard about, and it's like, it's just, I mean, that is literally how information spreads, is just one big giant game of telephone.
Well, it's funny because Manitoba, where I'm in, we have somewhat similar like weather and ecosystem, whatever. It's like we're very much in line with Illinois as far as weather and everything else it goes on here. But you think that we would have similar cryptids. We don't. It is believed that we do have a version of the Bigfoot, but here's what I'm thinking about Bigfoot is if it is a real animal, I'm thinking it either hibernates like bears or it migrates. So that's what I'd like to know, is if Bigfoot is a migratory animal. Right.
Because or if there's multiple, if he's a pack animal, because there are so many different sites all around. Johnny was telling us about how, I guess, his brother worked for I might say it wrong, Navy or Marines, but they had procedures of how they were supposed to deal with like Bigfoot when they found them. He said they were working at like Mount St. Helens or something like that. And like the actual military had procedures on what to do when you came in contact with a Bigfoot. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like this. Dan says you're talking about a bird the size of a 4-seater airplane.
Oh wow,
that's a big bird.
So, Native American culture, would that be what they carved at the top of their totems then? Thunderbirds? Yes. Okay.
They have one that's Northwest Coast. I'm going to say this wrong, I know. Quaikitut. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is a totem on top of a totem pole. So yeah, I'll make sure that I write this down so that I can I'll contact Rich, see if he's available for our next show, And then if not, then I have a backup plan. Awesome. All right. Where can we find you on social media, Kale?
On Instagram and Facebook and everywhere that my handle is available at Creepy Kale.
Excellent. You guys can find me all over social media as well. And I'm pretty much free all week. So if you guys want to chit chat about cryptids, give me a shout. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this wonderful evening, and we'll talk to Johnny, see if we can start the show a little earlier for those of us who like to go to bed early.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and bye, Casper.